Hello viewers, welcome to this tutorial. So we're learning now how to use the nested if statement. Okay, so we want to deal with the nested if statement. Now the assignment I gave in the previous one, just do your best to navigate through. If there are any questions, just leave it in the comment below and I'll answer you right away. Okay, so we want to deal with nested if statement. Okay, nested if statement. So what is nested if statement? Where we have one if statement inside another if statement. So we declare a variable called user details. All right, so this is a list. We have a list called user details where we have the first index as prints and the second one as 1 2 3 4 5. All right, so after this we want to receive input from the user. So username input, and we go like enter your full and enter your first name. All right, enter your first name. All right, then we have user password int. It is an integer, so we receive it as an integer. Input enter your second name. Enter your password. All right, so after we come back to our conditional statement, all right, and we say if user details index 0. Now if you don't really understand this indexes, go back to my tutorial on list. All right, you really understand what indexing is. So the index 0 is this one. If the user details index 0 is equal to username, and maybe that's capitalized. Okay, so we say print you are welcome. Okay, so we just print you're welcome, then that is it. Then after we go to our usual one, then else you are the wrong person. All right, you are the wrong person. Okay, so the nested if statement, what happens, let me run this code and see what happens. So enter your first name, print your password, blah blah blah, anything, say you are welcome. Okay, but we want to bring a nested if statement to check the password. Okay, so the nested if statement is simply a condition in another condition. Okay, so this if statement is for this else statement. So inside the if statement we can have another if statement. All right, and inside the else statement we could also have another if statement. So we come back and we say that if user details, okay, index 1, which is the password, is equal to the user password. All right, there's no capitalized for this is a number. All right, then print you are logged in. Okay, so you are logged in, so the user is logged in. Then we say else print you entered a wrong password. All right, so this code will only run if this condition is true. So the first thing we want to check is your name even true? Is your username even right? So if the username is right, then we tell the person you are welcome. Then after we have another if statement to check for the password. Okay, then if the password is right, we say you are logged in. If the password is not right, you enter the wrong password. So what happens here is that this if statement is for this else statement, this if is for this else. Okay, so if this condition is true, it will skip all this else statement, will not work. It will just emphasize on this if statement. All right, and within this if there is a nested if statement. Nested is inside the if statement there is another if statement. Okay, so this will also say if the user password is true, then log the person in. If the user password is false, if this is not true, then run this one by default. You already know the if and else statement. Okay, so this is how they work. So this if and else statement has no relation to do with this else statement because they are inside this if statement. Why? Because they are indented. So you see there's also indentation for this. So this indentation is for this if statement, this indentation is for this else statement, and all this indentation is for this if statement, and all this indentation is for this else statement. Okay, so if we run the code and we enter the good name and we enter the wrong password, it says you are welcome, because you are welcome is the first message which will be displayed. Okay, you are welcome is the first message which will be displayed if your username is wrong before it will test for the condition of the password. All right, then it says you enter the wrong password. So we can just jump start and say print, then we also enter the right password. So it says you are welcome and you are logged in because this condition is true, so it entered this, and the second condition is true, so it displayed this one as well. Now what if we have a wrong username and a right password? So we have wrong username like Evans and a right password comes in, it will still not work. Okay, so you are the wrong person because the first thing it checks is the username. This passwords condition will only run if the username is right. So if the username's code is skipped, then there will be no way all these things will work. So to just jump directly to the else statement and work aside since that angle. Alright, so let me show you a different way of doing it by using this kind of and, or, and this kind of things used at the truth table. So let me cancel all this. Okay, so let me teach you another way. So what if you want to check both of them at a time? We don't want to have a long code. Okay, we want to say if the user details or if the username is right, and if the user details dot one, so this is the password, okay, is equal to user password. All right, so there's no need for the capitalize. This is the password. All right, then we say you are welcome. All right, or maybe you are logged in. You are logged in. Okay, so enter your name, friends, enter your password 1 2 3 4 5. It says you are logged in. So this and here, right here, helps us to kind of blend this condition and this condition. So and means that now if this condition is true and this condition is false, the code will not work, because the end condition expects both of them to be true. Okay, unless we use the or condition. So let's try something and see. So let's try to see the username is right but the password is wrong. It will not work. You are the wrong person. It just jumps and says you're the wrong person. Okay, just because one of them is wrong, so it just comes and says you are the wrong person, but meanwhile it's the password that is wrong. So maybe instead of using this method, you can use the nested if statement as we did earlier. So that one will kind of have individual messages to display. So in every section you have something to display. So if you check the name and the name is right, then you display, oh, you are the right person. Okay, now but you entered the wrong password. Okay, so that is kind of reliable than just blending all of them. But the end statement is also necessary in some aspects, especially some mathematical aspect and every other stuff. So if you use the or will work if one is right. So if one of these condition is right and the other is wrong, the or statement will work. So let's run and see. So if Prince is right and the password is wrong, you say you are logged in. So that is what the or statement does. So understand how these things operate. So if you use end means we kind of checking if this condition is true and this condition is also true, then you come here. Okay, if none of them are true or even only one is true, it will not work because end is both of them, so it will print this one. But the or means if only one of them is true and even the other is false, I'll just say you are logged in. So know how to use the truth table stuff where you have the end and the or, and also know how to use the nested if statement. They are both helpful. So if you have any questions, leave them in the chat below. Thanks for viewing this tutorial and you're always welcome.